No, Gaga.
Here she is.
Gaga, tell me this.
Baby.
Now,
I'm sorry.
No worries.
The club in Melbourne that you lost the ring. You tell the story about the ring in Melbourne.
Oh gosh, but I don't.
Is it
remember.
Melbourne?
It was in Melbourne.
Yeah, it was the Greyhound.
Was that the Greyhound?
It must have been.
Yeah.
I have to really think back though, because it was after a show, and when I was
I thought it was on stage.
It was on stage, but I used to go after my show, like at the arena.
Yeah.
I would then get in the car if I was up to it, and I'd say, "Let's head to the gay club, and I'll just do a show on the fly."
Right.
Just for the kids.
With a track or with the record, your record?
I would bring the track, but I would take out without the vocal.
Yeah,
The TV track.
Right.
Yeah.
The instrumental. So we'd call and I'd say, "Hey, do you guys have a microphone? Give me some reverb. Give me some delay."
Give me some reverb is my favorite line ever.
Give me some reverb.
I usually go on stage and I'm like, I want it wet.
That's way sexier. I get really technical and like in a completely different mode.
Yeah, right.
But that night I remember I was having a lot of fun, and I got there, and sometimes I bring my dancers, when we do a whole thing. But that night I just went, and I didn't do that. I just went alone, and there was a show going on, so there were the other performers there.
Yeah.
And I came out, and I remember I didn't even put my purse down.
Oh dear.
Because I decided that I was going through this Versace phase when Donatella opened all of Johnny's archives from the 90s.
Wow.
Jesus Lord in
Can
heaven.
Can you imagine?
Dying.
Yeah.
I just put Gaga's hand on
And
my
I will
my
tell you a
goodness.
secret story that might need to be edited out later.
Okay,
but
but tell the story. But
I
what
want
happened to
the
the ring? What happened to the ring?
So anyway, I'm on stage performing. You know me. I go from, one zone to another,
Yeah.
right? Back and forth. And so I was getting into my like really hard zone singing. And all of a sudden, my fake Cartier ring that I bought in Greece that had diamonds on it.
Thank you.
Thank Jersey for life.
I thought it was real.
It's
This whole time I thought it was real.
It's so
It was real
expensive.
diamonds?
Yeah, real diamonds, but it's so expensive that when you buy the
Oh, it's
Cartier
a
one.
fake Cartier.
It was
Yes.
a fake Cartier that
Oh,
I
I
bought
see.
in Greece.
I see,
But it
yeah.
was still,
It
my
was still
ring.
diamonds, yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive. So I'm singing and it flies off my hand and I stop. And I don't think I've ever stopped in the middle of a song in my life.
I would fucking stop too. I'd be like, hold up.
I must have been a couple Jameson deep, seriously. I must have been. And I just lean over and I go, "Excuse me, it's a gold ring. It's a gold ring." And then I started laughing at myself. And then I had a real like self-awareness experience where I realized I still had my Versace purse on.
You were performing with your purse on?
Yeah, I was going through my Donatella phase. I told you.
You had your purse on?
It was all leather and Medusas. Leather Medusa purse,
of course.
leather Medusa hat.
Oh, my God.
I had on this trampy little outfit. I loved it. I was in heaven. I was having the best time. But then I lost my damn ring and never to be found again.
Wait a bit. So you didn't
get it
say
back?
you didn't say stop the music and turn the house lights on?
No, I just I don't know what I was thinking. I just stopped singing and the music kept playing and I
Yeah.
just started talking to the audience and being like, "Hey, do you guys see a ring down there?"
Oh my God.
Have you checked eBay? I'm not like,
No, truly.
seriously.
Yeah.
No.
Because somebody finds it, it could be like, Gaga.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
Gaga's ring. Gaga
Oh
wore
my
Yeah.
it.
God, that's
No, I didn't.
terrible.
It is awful that somebody wouldn't
That
do
is
But I
awful.
have been returned things before, and it made me cry once. One time, a fan returned to me a pair of glasses. They were also Versace. They were the ones that Biggie wore in the 90s.
Yeah,
Those,
yeah.
like, squarish ones.
Yes,
Right? And I loved those because I thought I paired them with like my Grace Jones outfit.
Ooh.
The red with the Margiela blazer,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I loved them so much, and they fell off while I was singing in a club in Canada, and they were gone, and I was so devastated because at that time I didn't have the money to just go buy another pair. And one day I was doing a record signing in New York, and this young kid came up to me, and he was like, "I found these glasses at your show and I knew they were yours."
Wow.
And he said, "And I didn't give them back to you because I wanted to keep them." And he said, "But I love your music so much and I've kept following you since then and I really wanted you to have them."
Oh, I love that.
How much time passed between losing them and getting them back?
5 years.
5 years.
It wasn't 5. I would say maybe about a full year or 2.
Right.
So
right.
he got his wear out of them.
He got
It was
his
a
wear.
long period, but I actually didn't give them. I didn't take them.
You didn't take them. You
I
let him have
signed
them.
them and gave them
That's
back.
gorgeous. Because the time when you were a downtown star to a superstar, it was the fastest meteoric rise I've ever seen in my life. Did it feel that way?
You know, it at the time, I just thought, oh, this is what happens.
Right.
And looking back, I can't believe it.
Yeah. It was
I can't
fast.
believe it. And it even gives me jitters now when I think about putting out a new record.
Yeah.
Because on the one side, you think, oh, I really want everyone to love it. And then on the other side, you go, what if they really love it?
Right.
Because I remember what happens
Yeah.
when the world just falls in love
Yeah.
with something that you've made, and your whole life changes. The atmosphere, the energy around you,
Yeah.
the responsibility. It zaps you into a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But don't you think you're more used to it now, having gone through it with the first album and then with the Fame? Do you understand? Do you know what I mean? You've been through it now, really in the thick of it. And what I loved was Cheek to Cheek that you did with Tony, because it was so different and people did
Yeah.
not expect it. It was so beautifully done and so beautifully executed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it was so different that I love that young kids are hearing this type of jazz music that they never would have listened to. And bravo for that. But I mean, it was a different reception.
You know, I don't think I will ever feel comfortable in that
You've
way.
never gotten used to the Fame.
No.
Yeah.
Now I get I'm more frequently, 90% of the time don't give a shit if somebody has a camera in my face while I'm at the grocery store. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I used to really shut down, get emotional.
Right.
Run to my car and cry.
Yeah.
Like hold my security guard and weep, like in the arms of like people that I didn't even maybe really know that well yet. They just worked with me. I mean, I really had a hard time because it's quite
It is.
So
Are you an
overwhelming.
introvert at heart, or are you an extrovert? Are you pretending to be an extrovert?
I'm not pretending. I guess it's when I have the permission, and the stage is that permission.
Right.
Once I'm on the stage, it's like I have permission to perform.
Yeah.
And every other hour of the day, although I love performing for my friends, and I will if they ask, I feel like that's my time to listen and learn and take in the things that are happening around me so that I can be creative. It's
true.
Because if you're always performing, then you're not watching.
Right.
Because we still are all students.
We are
in
all
life,
students.
You know?
Yes.
I'm interested in knowing that at what point in the meteoric rise did you know I've got to get security guards? Because not everybody needs security guards, but you need security. How far into it? A year later? 6 months later?
Because your fans are avid, rabid fans. And I'm not saying that negatively. It's positive. I'm a little monster.
Yeah.
Not so little. But I'm still my
You are
well,
fucking awful.
well,
my
you-
paws are always up. And
Yeah.
imagine me being at your house all
Well,
day.
you're a-
going, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, Michelle is a double
best.
D monster.
I am.
I'm putting out a new bra line. That's what it's called.
I
Double
am.
D
Double D
monster
monster.
monster bras. Patent that shit.
Right, you've heard of monster trucks?
Monster titties.
Exactly. Do you remember
Security.
getting
security.
your first security guard?
Okay, let me think about this. Did I have security during?
Because right now I think you have two guys with you right
Yeah.
now.
Well, I would imagine she needs them now.
But
all the
when we were
time.
driving onto the lot, you were driving yourself.
I had security by the end of the first album cycle.
Right.
So I would say about so when Just Dance came out,
Yeah.
and it became a hit in a year. So
Right.
I worked in the underground club scene still, just now funded by Interscope.
I
So I
see.
was doing it before on my own. Now Interscope was funding me to play in gay clubs, which I was like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
even better. I can make it even more amazing.
Yeah.
And what happened was right before Bad Romance came out, that's when I really it was you know what it was? I remember what it was. It was when I started touring. As soon as I started doing the bigger clubs, and like a 6,000 people club
right.
or 2,000 people club. My fan base just started to become a community, and they all really just wanted to hang out together, and with me, and they wanted to get to know me, and I think that's around when that happened.
Right. Now,
it was fast, is what I'm
it
trying
was
to say.
Fast. And I've been around for a long time. I've seen the whole thing. Now, when your New York days, earlier today, I heard you mention Kenny. Yeah. Now, were you hanging? What was your first New York club experience? What clubs were happening? Because in my day, Lincoln was still in the president.
You and Mary Todd used to hang out at the Red Zone.
At the Red Zone together. I don't even remember what clubs were happening for kids your age.
Well, to be honest, it was a mix. I never really had a strong awareness of the fact that I had so many gay friends. Mm-hmm. It was just normal to me.
Yeah.
So whether we were going to a straight club or a gay club, I wasn't always thinking or clocking that. Mm-hmm. Michael T., I remember meeting him, and I remember so much. I was this young girl calling myself Lady Gaga, and he was, giving me the look over and the side eye and going, oh, now you want to be in our scene, because it was a real scene down there.
Yeah.
And it was something I could not wait to be a part of. And I was so excited to have a place to be accepted. And Lady Starlight was who brought me into there. But the reason I want to explain this is because she was a DJ. She still is. She's she DJs metal. She's also a techno musician now. But she brought me in there, and I became friends with this whole sort of subcultural heavy metal community.
Really? In New York City?
On the Lower East Side around Stanton Street and Rivington. So there's a ton of kids that love metal, love rock and roll bars. So St. Jerome's, Pianos was around there, and then you've got Don Hills, right? Yeah. And you've got Dark Room and Max Fish. And
that's not a long time ago. I mean, your superstardom has happened in a relatively short amount of time.
Yes, but I did put the work in
the hard yards.
I put the hard yards in, and I put them in for about, I would say, I was obviously training since I was a child, but in terms of playing out in clubs consistently, I did it for about 3 years, which doesn't seem like a lot to many people probably, and that's what you mean by saying it happened very fast. But I was doing that, and what happened was it was this mixture of this rock and roll community with also jazz musicians that love rock, and those jazz musicians are the ones who played with me on the Tony Bennett record.
Yes,
amazing.
Yes.
I've been playing with them since I knew them 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 9 years ago.
Just
but it was just out of diapers because we were all in the infancy of our artistry.
Right.
And I fell in love with a guy that was, a bartender at one of these clubs, and he introduced me to more people. And then I ended up working with my friends Breedlove and Lady Starlight, and I believe, and I'm trying to think of who else it was, but I just remember I got a show set up at Sebastian, and Kenny was hosting, or it was called Social. Social.
Yeah.
And I did a show there, and that was really when I noticed that I had fans.
Right. When this happened to you, where you became a superstar really quickly, and you think about the gang that you sort of left behind, not left behind in a malicious way, but the people from the old neighborhood, did you have to reconcile sort of saying goodbye and dealing with maybe even feeling guilty that
like
you were the chosen one,
Yeah.
Did you have to reconcile that within yourself?
Absolutely. It was one of the most painful things I've ever emotionally had to do.
How'd you do it?
Because there's a great guilt associated
There's a
with
great
that.
guilt
Yeah.
associated with survivor's guilt.
Correct.
And there's success guilt.
Yes. It was so hard, not only because I missed them, but because I missed being there and living there and my life there, and nothing about being famous or making money ever trumped that. I felt at a deficit in a serious way. And then you have to still be creative and artistic. And I'm going, but my muses are gone. Where are they? I needed them.
It's a struggle.
I'm friends with all of them still. Lady Starlight and I, she's opened for me on every world tour I've ever done. Arena tours, stadiums around the world. Newman, who was best friends with my boyfriend at the time, he is a trumpet player. I used to sing with him in his jazz band. I knew those guys. I was working with Tony. Tony was like, Tony works with his guys. They played with Count Basie and they played with Frank Sinatra. So, it's like, I don't really want to tell Tony who to play with, but I was like, hey, there's these like young cats. I've been playing with them for a while. You should really meet them. And then they came into the picture. And then Breedlove, my buddy, who's an amazing, singer, artist, and Justin Tranter, who was in Semi-Precious Weapons. I used to open for Semi-Precious Weapons with Lady Starlight. Then I brought them to open for me on tour when I went on my arena tour. And now he wrote, didn't he write Sorry?
Sorry for Justin Bieber.
And Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
I mean, he is just like, and so in that way, I have felt healed, because what's important to me was always to support and love the people that inspired me in the same way that they gave to me, I wanted to give to them. Yeah. And none of them also, by the way, have ever made me feel weird or awkward about money or needing things. They've always all been all about the art, all about the talent, all about working hard. And I always told them, I would never put you on stage or in, any situation performance-wise in public if I didn't know you were the shit.
Right.
And
True.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Well, listen, we've got to stop there. Thank you so much for talking.
We could talk to you
we
for
could talk for
always such great questions. I get asked the worst questions.
I know.
Next time you're in town,
really
and
do.
next time we'll record just with you for an hour.
I would love that.
We'd love to have you back on the show.
This is an important story.
It is.
For people to know. Because I was getting emotional upstairs before we go into this Gaga segment for the show, because you don't realize, Ru, you really are such a inspiration. We were just talking about you. I hope your ears were burning. I
love that. I love that.
You please receive it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
your
important.
show runs like a well-oiled machine. You are so intelligent. When you run in to do your lines, when they're doing pickups, you have that same happiness and energy.
Thank you.
And I can't imagine that all of the things you've been through, how you have that type of serenity and balance within yourself. It's amazing.
That's so sweet. I love that. I love you. And I love you for talking to our podcast. We have to have you on again.
I will.
You're a lovely,
And I love
sweet
you
soul,
too.
and you deserve the best. And you know that. I know. I went to your birthday party. It feels like there is a new Gaga. The woman that you were born to be has emerged. And I can feel that.
Thank you.
And we can hear it in the music.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Lady Gaga.
Oh my God.
Yeah.